Okay, so yesterday I did a presentation on the use of Project Spark to create the ideal classroom at E2, and I think it went really well. And I really appreciate the interactive audience. It was great. One of my colleagues, Ruby, gave me an interesting challenge. She asked me to build an elevator, and I thought I could do it, and I couldn't make it work. This morning, because this sort of thing haunts my dreams, I was able to figure it out. So let me walk you through a few things that I was doing wrong, so you can see how to correct it. So the first thing, the biggest problem why the code wasn't working is that I had actually chosen the wrong object here. So if you remember, we were using a large square to represent the elevator, and I had move on path, which is fine, but here, what I had actually done is when I went to in-world picker, I was actually picking that block. I was picking itself. So it was saying move on the path of yourself, and because that self, the block, didn't have a path, it wasn't working. So I just attached it to the path that is right here. So now it's active. I hit confirm selection. I go back. It's now saying path. That's great. Now the other problem we were encountering, or I encountered later, is that now I could get it to move, but it would only move on the horizontal plane, and I couldn't get it to go vertically. I couldn't figure out why, and that's where I went into the modifiers tab. And we talked about modifiers briefly. That each object or each set of commands when you go in has a modifier. So I went to modifiers, playing around, and then I found this one, which is with flying, which is used for flying objects, which is great. So I added that. And then I could get it to move back and forth, but the problem I was having was that block wasn't a very good elevator because I couldn't actually get on it. So I went into my path, made a small change to properties path, where I sped it, I slowed it down, and then I had it pause at the top and the bottom. And then I changed the object to this flat object just to test it out. And so I will test it now. It's going to be hard to do this with, okay, so I'll try my best. You have to excuse me for not being, okay, there we go. We have the camera on one hand. I'm moving my character, waiting for the elevator to come back down. And let's see, if I stand right about here, obviously I have to work on my placement a little bit. But if I've done this correctly, yay! Elevator, she's up in the air, she's above the whole room, and we have a working elevator.